Chrystia Freeland. Chrystia Freeland. Does that name ring a bell for you? Oh, probably not. No, probably not. But it should. She could be Canada's next prime minister, Chrystia Freeland. And she's out there now saying that Canada needs to partner with European nations to create a nuclear deterrent to the United States. I can't make that up, folks. I mean, I just sat here and watched it. I think I dented my sternum because my jaw flew open. Dr. Steve Turley joining me now. He's on here quite a bit lately. Turley, this woman, Chrystia Freeland, thinks that Canada needs to develop nuclear weapons to protect themselves against us. They've lost their stinking minds.
Yeah, well, I think it is reflective that we are going through a massive political realignment all over the world, and Europe and Canada, it appears, strange rhetoric coming from the 51st state, but Canada and Europe appear to be stuck in an old liberal world. For them, it's still the 1990s. They think the liberal international order is still running things, and fortunately, President Trump and the rest of the world recognize something very, very different is emerging here, a far more civilizationalist world, a nationalist populist world. And look, they're just stuck in the past.
They're stuck. Well, they're stuck in a fantasy that doesn't exist. Here, Zelensky goes running off to Europe. And he gets coddled by, he's like a child who's been reprimanded by dad and goes running to mommy. Mom, he's been so mean to me. Anyhow, he gets coddled in Starmer and these others. We will put together a plan to back Ukraine. You guys have neglected your militaries for 30, 40, 50 years. They don't have the money. They don't have the military ability. They only have the ability because we picked up the check and we sent them military equipment. And they're like, we have all the equipment we need. Where did you get that? America.
It's absurd. I mean, look, and you know this, your audience knows this. The Marshall Plan dictated that Europe would basically be a vassal continent. We would guarantee the security of Europe. It was Western Europe at the time. Of course, you had your Soviet bloc in the East, and when the Berlin Wall fell, then the Eastern states were incorporated into that security guarantee by the United States after the reunification of Germany. So the idea that Europe could supply any even remotely serious military deterrent for Russia is a joke. I mean, this was the whole point of trying to turn Western Ukraine into almost like a Dubai, just make it a center for international investment and activity and presence, with the United States being sort of the number one state in that. With the minerals deal, that would be enough to deter Russia. Russia would no more want to invade Western Ukraine than they would want to invade Switzerland, for example.
Right. So,
and he threw it away.
Right, because I want to look. I've seen tremendous amount of insanity coming from the left ever since Trump kicked Zelensky out of the White House on Friday, as he should have, by the way. Zelensky came in there to pick a fight. He laid a trap. The trap was sprung, and it crushed him, not Trump, not J.D. Vance. But I think that most of these people are out there, I'm with Zelensky, Trump's. I think it's just people that hate Trump anyway. I think 90% of it is just people that hate Trump anyway. Wouldn't matter what he did. He could get a peace agreement in Ukraine today, and they would nitpick it right to pieces because they hate him that much, right?
Yeah, he sold out to Putin. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, the polls are all showing it, Stephen. It's really impressive. I don't know if you saw David Burrell. It was all over X. He was on with Mark Halperin, and he conducted a poll with over 1,000 respondents that had to watch that entire exchange between Trump and Zelensky, that 10-minute portion at the end, and he found that 62% who watched that exchange believed that Zelensky was offensive. It was Zelensky that was in the wrong there. And I mean, it just reflects, again, this is the political realignment. It just reflects a very general attitude of a very real souring of this whole Ukrainian project. The latest Quinnipiac poll, Harry Enton of CNN was showing this, found that only 7% of the public thought that we were doing too much for Ukraine back in February 2022. Today, that number has hit 41%, a six-fold increase. You're right. I mean, every poll you see out there, the CBS poll, People want peace. They do not want this protracted, continuous war. The latest Harvard-Harris poll found that 72% wanted a negotiated settlement with Russia, and 60% supported President Trump announcing direct U.S.-Russia negotiations to end the war. Frank Luntz himself, the guy with the funny hair weave or whatever he's got there, he did. It was, granted, a non-scientific poll. It was an X poll, but he asked the question: should we? Who are you angrier at with this confrontation between Trump and Zelensky? 92% said they were angry with Zelensky.
Yeah, so, that's the way it is, you know. And Frank Luntz.
Frank Luntz, and he's no fan of Trump.
No, he hates Trump.
Coming out and saying that the country's changed. The country does not want interventionist liberal internationalism anymore.
Yeah, the globalists are losing everywhere. You know, you saw it in the elections here in Germany just here a week ago, right? They're losing everywhere. And so I don't know what Europe pretends that they're going to do, this whole, we're going to be the tough guys, and we're going to, well, then why don't you do that to begin with? Tell you what, send us our $300 billion back, refund that to us. You guys do whatever you need and leave us the hell out of it. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, when all's said and done, at least politically, is that the calculus here is that Trump is at an all-time high in terms of his popularity. Zelensky, for right or for wrong, is at an all-time low, meaning, as we saw with the CNN poll, that since the Russian invasion, while of course it's a tragedy, no question about it, Zelensky really has no political leverage at this point.
He has nothing.
Has it all.
He has nothing.
He's got nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
anyhow. Meanwhile, Canada's going to get nukes to protect themselves against us, just so you know. Turley, greatly appreciate you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
There you have it. All right, I'll take a break and be back. It's the Steve Gruber Show.